Welcome back to the channel. This is the Action Figure Grader, and today we're going to cover the vintage collection. We've got lots of recent sales, lots of unpunched items, and at the end I want to talk just a little bit about the retro collection because I got an email from a channel friend that posited a question, and I'm going to pass it on to you guys to see what you say about it. So thank you as always to my Patreon supporters. They allow this channel to be what it is today. Patreon.com/actionfiguregrader is where you can go to sign up for free. You don't have to pay anything if you don't want to. There is a free tier. All right, let's go take a look at recent sales. First, we'll start off with Jango Fett. This was an unpunched US card, $152.98. I've seen punched examples go for as low as $70 this week as of the making of this video, so that gives you a rough idea. I think that 152 number is probably a little high. This seller usually does list on the higher end of the fair market value. So if you can, try to aim for Jango Fett 125-ish for an unpunched example or less. Here was a signed card. This one I think is Jacob Lloyd, I think is his name, who played young Anakin in The Phantom Menace. This one was autographed by him, not authenticated, but $55. Not a bad deal for another signed TVC. And, you know, this is a perfect example of an item to send in to collector archive services for their signature series grading. You get the autographed, authenticated by James Spence Authentication, and then they'll grade the item. It looks really nice inside the grading cases. Not that you have to do that. It's just an idea for those of you with autographed items. Next up, we got another Jocasta Nu. This one looked like a really clean example, super mint box. And this one sold in an auction, one bid, $148, free shipping. And I've seen a few other examples go as low as $116, but most of them seem to be above $125 and up for the Jocasta Nu Brian's Toys exclusive still in the box. Next up, Shea Vizsla. This one was super cheap. This is another one that has come back down to earth, obviously, since they reissued her. This one is the first issue, obviously, with the Darth Maul offer unpunched US card. That one sold for $76. I still remember because I was bidding on it at the time. It was an AFA 90 or 9.0, and it was at auction, and it sold for like $460. I think I bid $450, and it sold for $460. Somebody saved me some money because that one is not worth $460 nowadays, just given that they reissued it. And that's a complaint from a lot of you guys that I hear that have been collecting vintage collection for a while. It's like, what incentive do I have to pay for the really expensive TVC 1.0 when they're just going to reissue a lot of them? So I'm not saying that it's going to happen for every one of them, but it is something to keep in mind if you're spending big money on TVC 1.0. Speaking of, this seller had some really nice unpunched TVC 1.0 all at auction. So I thought these would be give you guys really good low numbers to aim for if you're looking to fill in any holes in your collection. So all of these included star cases, and I think they were all unpunched in varying degrees of condition, but overall pretty good condition. So first is VC 115 Darth Vader Emperor's Wrath. That one sold $112.50. Really good deal there. Anywhere around that number I think is good. Plus or minus 10, 15, 20 bucks. I think you're doing really well. And for the most part, though, $112.50, that's kind of a bottom of the barrel price. Next up, Lumat. I found another one that sold for $175 literally a day after this one closed in an auction. So in an auction, Lumat unpunched sold for $127.50. And like I said, a buy it now situation at $174.99. So that just shows you how much a better deal you can get if you wait for an auction for a lot of these early TVC. Bastilla Sean, that's another one that has really come down in price. This was kind of usually always about $100, $120. This one was a pretty clean looking unpunched US card, $54, just some very light edge wear to it. 54 bucks, great deal there. Same seller also had Obi-Wan Kenobi, the original issue, $77.99. That one's kind of come back up a little bit. Obviously this one was reissued, but this one dipped way down for a while, and now it's kind of slowly working its way back up. And, I thought $77.99, that seems to be a pretty fair deal in the current environment. I've seen AFA graded examples of the TVC 1.0 version go for a pretty penny, so that's not a terrible deal. 81 bucks for Grand Moff Tarkin. I mean, it's crazy how much that one has dropped. And admittedly, this one did have some edge wear to it. It was not perfect, but still, it was an unpunched card. And again, light edge wear to it, but still $81. I mean, they were going for $181 not too long ago. So another very low number. Revenge of the Jedi Rebel Commando. This one had the prototype FET offer, so obviously the retail release, not the SDCC Death Star version, and more on the Death Star in a little while. We got another data point for one of those. This one sold for $102.50 in an auction, 8 bids on that one. And speaking of the devil, I didn't realize it was right after this, but here we go. So here is yet another example of the SDCC Death Star box set, and again showing that the price is going up, and not that it shows it right now, but this one closed at $1,800. $1,800. I don't know why it does that sometimes, but sometimes eBay doesn't show the final sales price. This did sell in an auction for $1,800. So we have very decidedly bounced off the lows that we saw. For a while there, it got down to like $1,200, $1,300, but we've seen consistent data points now that have been $1,500, $1,600, $1,700, $1,800. And this one did sell in an auction for $1,800 plus $50 shipping. A couple of other big price points. We had the Millennium Falcon mint and seal box, the original issue Toys R Us. And this box looked to be super clean, super clean. So I can understand why somebody would pay up for it. I mean, it looks basically straight off of the toy shelves from Toys R Us. $900 though, big number, $900. It was free shipping on that one. And then another big time item. This one was the Jabba's Sail Barge. This one did not sell in an auction. It did sell in a buy it now situation. It looks like it had one little crease or dent right there on the top of the box, but it still sold at $22.50 plus $83 shipping. So let's call that about $23.25 after shipping costs for the HasLab Katana Sail Barge, for those of you still looking to add one of those. Next up, I do got a custom. I wanted to show this custom because it was pretty cool. You know, obviously the Transdoshans have had some pretty good appearances here lately. And, you know, between Skeleton Crew and obviously in the Book of Boba Fett too, but really this was designed for Skeleton Crew fans in mind. But I thought this was a really clean, nice looking example. And it looks like they got two different paint schemes, but this one, I like this one the best. It looks like they kind of use the Clone Commander Gree body and then added a Transdoshan head to it. I just like the way it looked. I thought it was cool. I don't know if I'd pay $120 for it, but that's what somebody paid. This seller always does really nice customs. I don't know this seller or anything like that. I'm not trying to promote him or anything, but the Grumpy Puppet Workshop is the seller on eBay, and they have a lot of really cool customs over the years, but that one did sell for $120. One other loose TVC I wanted to point out, I was shocked by this sales price, $114.99 for a loose Darth Revan. And I found some mint on card examples that have sold for less than this. I've the range this week for the mint on card Darth Revan was a low of $85 and then a high of $114. And then this loose one did sell for $114. So it is a great figure. And I guess if you don't particularly care and you're planning on opening it anyway, then just buy it loose, I guess. But that one did sell for $114.99 free shipping. And speaking of, this is the first graded Darth Revan I've seen in a while, and it was 3-tier grading, archival case, AFA 90 plus. 90, 90, 95 were the subscores on this bad boy. But look at that sales price. It did sell for $600 plus $22 shipping. That's a new high for a graded Darth Revan. The last one I remember seeing sell was around $400 or maybe $450. But this one is admittedly a 90 plus 3-tier grading. But man, what a massive number on that. That's basically 6 mint on card, maybe 5 mint on cards for Darth Revan. That's the equivalent that you'd spend for 5 of them. And you get in one AFA 90 plus archival case. $600 was the sales price. So that's a big number. Uncirculated 9.0 Battle Droid. This one sold for $90. This is the original issue, not the reissue. $90 plus $15 shipping. And then this seller, Disruptor, sold the 4 Jabba's Court Denizens from the 4-pack. So we got Reese and Squidhead, and then 2 of the Jabba's Sail Barge Goons. All of them were uncirculated 9.0 gold level from AFA, and that set of 4 sold for $550 plus $5 shipping. So $550 plus $50 shipping. So $600 total for all 4 of those in an uncirculated 9.0. All right. So James M., who is a friend of mine and channel watcher, he posited the question, and I'll pass it on to you. We obviously have seen some big prices for some of the recent retro collection, like Yak Face retro collection, like Mon Mothma. I found prices for Mon Mothma as low as $85, and then I found this one at $125. So that's a huge price disparity. Let's call that a 50% price disparity within the same week for a retro collection mint on card Mon Mothma. And for the multi-pack with Yak Face and Mon Mothma, the going rate right now is about $370 on eBay. And I found several data points that support this number. And so my question to you is, who would you like to see in another retro collection multi-pack? I don't have an answer for it. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything that's really pressing. I tend to lean towards uncreated original trilogy Star Wars characters. And it seems like, off the top of my head, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I'm sure there are some that were missing from the original Kenner line, from the original trilogy, that they have not made already. That would be good fits. And, I was thinking like Slave Leia obviously would be a good one. But I just posit that question to you guys as to who you would like to see in the retro collection, because clearly there is demand for these figures. The resale prices for some Stan Solos mint on card, those can go for big money for a lot of them. So there is demand out there from collectors to get the kind of Kenner style 5 points of articulation type figures. So leave me a comment while you're leaving me a like as to who you'd like to see next in the retro collection. That's all I really had for this video. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll be back soon.